Polson, Montana. And when I had done a Google search on the most dangerous cities in Montana, and I read the name Polson as poison. I mistaked the L for a lowercase I. And I thought, how cool is that? The most dangerous city is named Poison, Montana. And I thought that for a little while before I realized it was Polson, and I was kind of a little disappointed. And the thrill of coming here had kind of gone down, knowing that it just has a normal, regular name. But this city is considered one of the worst in Montana, if not the worst, as far as violent crime goes. It's the most dangerous. It has a population of 5,500 people, and it went up by 35% since 2000. So it's been rising very quickly, the population here. And Montana is considered the 14th most dangerous state in the United States, which I've been in Montana for a while now, and I don't see it as being the most dangerous. Unless people are getting attacked, they're counting like moose attacks or bear attacks or something. I don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not. That's what they say. It's the 14th most dangerous. And it's, so back to Polson. We'll go up this Main Street here, see what they got on Main Street. I don't expect this to actually look like a bad city, but the statistics aren't that great on it. It's 52% female and 48% male, which is very odd, but you often see that in cities that have higher crime for whatever reason. There's more females than males. 61% white, 15% American Indian, and 7% Hispanic. So it's a little diverse. But they really don't have any murders here. And the last one I could find was in 2010. So it's been, 14 years since they've had a murder in this city. Their assault rates from 2016 to 2020 were in the 500 to 600s, which is like Chicago level. And since 2021, or in 2021, the assault rate went over 1,000 per 100,000 people, which is why it's got such a bad rap, because that's really high, going over 1,000. Baltimore's assault rate is in the 900s. It's like, I think it's 920 or something like that. So their assault rate in 2021 was higher than Baltimore. In 2022, it dropped down to 873, which again, we're still in Baltimore levels. But the violent crime here is 185% worse than the national average, which starts getting into that like iffier category. Anything like, in the around 100% worse than the national average is kind of just regular city bad, where you kind of expect a certain amount of crime and certain amount of, bad activity. But getting up at 185, that gets up there in that iffy category. It's much higher. And the year-over-year crime increase here is 8%, is what it's listed as. I mean, look at this beautiful lake right here. But this is a town of 5,000 people. It doesn't look like a touristy town, but maybe it is. If I go up the right road, it'll look like a tourist town, and that would explain some of the crime numbers as well. Your odds of becoming a victim of a crime here is 1 in 18, which is actually pretty good. And by good, I mean, you have a pretty good chance of becoming a victim. Not like the odds are good in your favor. The cost of living here is lower than the national average. I mean, it's kind of a cute little place. It's got to be a little touristy, because these people are just wandering around and there really isn't a whole lot, it doesn't look like, to do here. I mean, there's these little stores and everything, but that's Main Street again. We'll go up a little further. And the schools here, this is where things get bad, and this explains the crime probably. 35% of the students graduate proficient at reading and math. The Montana average is 48%, and the US average is, the Montana average is 45%, and the US average is 48%. So they're doing worse than the abysmal US average of 48%, and basically around 1 out of every 3 students graduates proficient at reading and math. And only 85% of the population here has a high school diploma. It's a cute little town. I don't think I'm gonna, even if I drive around for 20 minutes here, I don't think I'm going to find something that makes this area look bad, because it's a cute little town. They just have a lot of assaults here, and maybe it's people coming in, tourists coming in, maybe it's just bar fights. It could be literally anything. Maybe there's a lot of domestic problems here. But I'm not going to drive around too much of the city. I am going to drive up and look at this lake a little bit as soon as this light changes. But Montana as a whole, it's getting more dangerous since our border problems. They started having more problems up here in cities that never really had problems before. So this may be one of the ones that just kind of although it's been bad for... Okay, GoPro just cut out there for a second. But they've been having crime problems here since 2020, just like a lot of places had. I mean, their assault rate prior to that wasn't very good. It was Chicago levels prior to 2020, but they jumped up since 2020. They jumped up to Baltimore levels, and that's not something that you want to see happen to your city. See if I can get you guys a nice shot of this lake. This lake is huge, and it's so pretty. It's really big. I didn't catch what it was called, but it's really big. I mean, it goes all the way to the left. There's a bridge. I mean, it's huge. You can see how big it is right here, but it goes the other direction just as far. Maybe maybe it's a river, and this is like a wide point in the river. I don't know. But like I said, it's a cute little place. They just got a lot of assaults, and it gives it a bad rap. And like I said, the assaults could be anything. It could be bar fights. It could be tourists coming in, getting drunk. Although it's not overly touristy looking of a city, but I'm sure with the lake right there, it draws some tourists. And it could be domestic stuff that causes the problem. You know, you have a lot of people going to the bar and, you know, drinking a lot or something. Could be anything. But I'm still disappointed that its name isn't Poison, because I literally, when I first read it, that's what I read was Poison. Maybe I wanted to see Poison, but I first read it, I saw Poison, and then every time I looked at it, that L looked like an I. And then I went to type it into the GPS, and I'm like, why is Poison, Montana not coming up? And it came up as Polson. And I was like, that can't be the right city. I want to go to Poison. It was very disappointing, I must tell you. And I'll probably never get across with this light like this. I'm going to turn right, maybe. I'm going to turn right and make a left and go around the block, because I'll never get across there. But it's a cute place. And I can't think of a city that has a violent crime rate 187% higher than the national average. Chicago's not that high. Chicago, I think, is in the 120s. You got cities like Minneapolis are in they're almost to 300. Can't think of any cities right now. Baltimore's way higher. Detroit's way higher. The cities I can think of are way higher, but so if you want to look at it that way, it's somewhere between Chicago and Minneapolis as far as your assault rates go. Around the same as Baltimore, or as far as the violent crime percentage goes, and your assault rates are the same as Baltimore. Now we're going to be sitting on these to get to turn right too. Probably didn't save myself any time by going around that block. But that's a little quick tour of Polson, Montana. You can see what the most dangerous city in Montana looks like, and it looks completely fine. It looks like a place you'd want to live. I'll let this play out a little as I drive out of town, just in case something pops up. But I don't expect to see any graffiti. I don't expect to see any garbage, because this is one of the cleanest states I've ever seen, Montana. I've been in the state for a little bit now, and it's one of the cleanest states I've ever seen. And I don't expect really to even see that and any homeless people, because I have seen four homeless people in the whole time I've been here, and I've been here a while. And I've seen 4 homeless people, and 3 were in the same city. But I'll let this play out a little bit as I'm leaving town here, and you can see this beautiful lake, more of this beautiful lake. And thanks for watching.